Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 25th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hopefully this day treated you well. Hopefully you had a great, grand old Tuesday. As for mine, it was a good day. So we got a full night's rest, which I think was much appreciated. I did go to sleep a little bit later than I should have, but overall, not too bad. These things happen. I think for me, it's just about having the consistent sleep where I stay down. I think that just does wonders for me. So, definitely came into the day with a better attitude, which I think just was, good overall. I think we had like one hiccup, which we'll get to. But, work was overall fine. It was steady. It was busy. We're still peaking, baby. I think something that definitely helped for today was like knowing that it's like, hey, it's Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We're off on Thursday. And like, yeah, we got to come back for Friday. I'm volunteering to do, my Black Friday day. But I mean, that's all good. Like that day is usually not the worst. It's usually not too crazy. And you get paid like, I think like double time and a half or something like that. It's a good gig for that day. I'll say that much. But today, like I said, was busy. It was steady. The only problem I had was towards the end of the day, my secondary had came up and told me as I was coming back from my very last break, they're like, hey, the crusher's pretty much filled up and they want me to use the composite crusher, the other crusher, to fill with cardboard. And literally last week we did that. We got so lucky. I didn't get into the details about it, but essentially it had gotten filled to a, not like filled, but like while they were trying to like put cardboard in, it literally jammed up the crusher. And then not to mention, it was more or less partially jammed or filled or something to that effect. And, we had a late pickup on a catering day. So it could have been a whole mess, but luckily we dodged the bullet. So I know that worst case scenario, it won't be as bad as that. I hope, knock on wood. Hopefully Rumpke comes on time tomorrow and everything is good. But it's just, this is bad practice. And essentially we're filling this this non-cardboard compactor with cardboard. And we're still going to have skids. We're still going to have not enough buggies. The whole thing is still going to be a mess. But it is what it is. I'm just, just trying to get through tomorrow is kind of the logic. You take it day by day. Post-work, though, we went to the gym. Gym was definitely busy. I came in, the Smith machines were all taken up. All of the benches were taken up. So I knew I had to make an audible. And I said, okay, let's just do some substitutions. I hit some substitution machines. And as I was doing that, I noticed that a Smith machine had opened up. So I got like through all my filler work. And I was like, all right, a little bit of a different order here, but let's go ahead and hit the Smith machine. And did something like kind of medium, kind of pushed around 225, weight around that. And, that was good. That was solid. Then I noticed also, I'm like, oh, well, the free weights are open. So let me just finish up over there in terms of the weight training. I just won't do a full like running set. I just kind of did some lighter lifts and, called it a day there. Post that, we did some cardio and that was good. So I would say this was a good workout. Got out about maybe like 5-10 minutes earlier than usual. So we turned a tragedy into a triumph. We love to see it. So yeah, that was more or less my whole day. It was a good day. I would say W day. And I wouldn't say I'm excited for tomorrow, but I'm ready to get this first half of peak done and dusted. It's been rough. I'm just weary from it. And I know we still have another act of this to go. But I think coming back from Thanksgiving break, I'm hoping we'll be more acclimated. There won't be any more drama, no more beef. Though I will say that, I still have that sour taste in my mouth, but I'm back on giving daps to supervisors, I guess. It just is what it is. I can sit here and be a curmudgeon about it, but that's not going to, make my day better. So I'm trying to just get back to being positive, and just leave things where they're at. I don't know. But yeah, that's been my day. So let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. All right. Our first story comes from ABC News. Thai woman found alive in coffin after being brought in for cremation. A woman in Thailand shocked temple staff when she started moving in her coffin after being brought in for cremation. I'm going to say this in advance. I'm fucking this name up. Wat Rat Prakon Tam, a Buddhist temple in the province of Nan Traburi, on the outskirts of Bangkok, posted a video on its Facebook page showing a woman lying in a white coffin in the back of a pickup truck, slightly moving her arms and head, leaving temple staff bewildered. Pirat Sudhup, the temple's general and financial affairs manager, told the Associated Press on Monday that the 65-year-old woman's brother drove her from the province of Phitsanulok to be cremated. He said they heard a faint knock coming from the coffin. I was a bit surprised, so I asked them to open up the coffin, and everyone was startled, he said. I saw her opening her eyes slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin. She must have been knocking for quite some time. According to Pirat, the brother said his sister had been bedridden for about 2 years. When her health deteriorated and she became unresponsive, appearing to stop breathing 2 days ago. The brother then placed her in a coffin and made the 500-kilometer or 300-mile journey to a hospital in Bangkok, to which the woman had previously expressed a wish to donate her organs. The hospital refused to accept the brother's offer as he didn't have an official death certificate. I get that. That's understandable. Kind of would have avoided this moment here, Pirat said. His temple offers a free cremation service, which is why the brother approached them on Sunday, but was also refused due to the missing document. It's like, dude, we don't just do this shit. Like, we're going through the proper protocols here. I get it. You're going through a loss and you're low on money and funds. It's not easy to get these things sometimes, and it's not, free or whatever. I get it. I think you do have to at least actually have to pay to get the document shipped to you, at least from my memory of having to handle that kind of stuff. But in America. But the temple manager said that while he was explaining how to get a death certificate when they heard the knocking, they then assessed her and sent her to a nearby hospital. The abbot said the temple would cover her medical expenses, according to Pirat. So, I mean, hey, this is a good ending, by the way. But I could just not imagine being this old woman and, don't get me wrong, you're already going through it, you're bedridden. I'm sure it feels like you're at death's door, but then you have this moment where, people are standing over you thinking you're dead, and they put you in a whole ass coffin and they're driving you all around, and it's like, hey, please don't kill me. I'm alive. Like, I don't know. I used to listen to this podcast called Lore. And not just this podcast. I think last podcast on the left also has had an episode about this, where just the idea of being buried alive Like people thinking you have died either due to some old age or whatever the hell. And especially back in the day, I felt like this was more of a thing where, we just didn't have the modern technology to fully quickly assess a person's condition. So they were like, oh, well, do a little breath test. You see any movement? Okay. Oh, look, try the pulse. Maybe you did a bad job. Maybe the pulse is thready, weak, and you just didn't pick it up. And you're thinking this is a dead person. No, it's a whole ass person. They're alive. I'm alive. I just couldn't imagine being buried alive. That's more or less what I'm getting at. And I mean, in this situation, I guess if I'm in this, by the way, we're just saying like, Marvel, what if I'm in this situation, I would rather be cremated. You know what I mean? Like, chuck me into a fire, and obviously that's a terrible way to go. I know we're being really morbid, and I'm sorry, but like, I would rather go that way than waking up in a coffin, buried. No shot, and there's no way for me to go about it. Like, I can't Kill Bill my way out of this bitch. Like, I'm cooked. I'm gonna die slowly. No, so please, just check. If it's my body, check, because I do want to be cremated. I'm putting that on the audio. I know I need like a lawyer or whatever to make that official, but I do not want to be buried. Cremate my shit, because I'm trying to leave this shit, in ashes, and spread me out somewhere cool or neat. I don't know or really care. I'll be dead, but definitely don't leave my body somewhere. That's just a personal preference. But anyway, I shouldn't be telling my dear listeners this. I should be like telling a lawyer. But anyway, let's move on to our next story from ABC News. Anna Kepner's death on cruise ship ruled a homicide. The death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner on a Carnival cruise ship has been ruled a homicide, according to a copy of the death certificate issued on Monday and provided to ABC News by Kepner's family. The document said the death was caused by mechanical asphyxia, and the date of injury was listed as November 6th, though the time is unknown. It says the teenager was mechanically asphyxiated by other person or persons. So yeah, essentially we're talking like a strangulation of some sort, of some kind. Let's see here. Autopsy and toxicology reports have not been released, and the Miami-Dade medical examiner declined to comment Monday. The FBI has not previously commented and did not respond to a request for comment Monday. The news comes weeks after the Florida teenager was found dead on the Carnival Horizon ship while on vacation with her grandparents, father, stepmother, siblings, and step-siblings. She was found dead under a bed, wrapped in a blanket and covered by life vests, according to a security source briefed on the investigation. Now, something that they are not getting to exactly here, but they are going to kind of bury in the next sentence or two. The last person she was seen alive with was her stepbrother. Then he was in the room. And so therefore it's like, okay, so kind of like using like, a bit of deductive reasoning here. You don't have to be Sherlock. It's like, did this person do it? And I mean, I feel like that is the big question, the big elephant in the room, so to speak. But the Kepner family previously told ABC News the FBI said Anna apparently died from asphyxiation, possibly caused by a bar hold, an arm across the neck. A court filing in an unrelated family court matter noted Kepner's stepbrother, a minor, could face charges. So that's pretty much as deep as this article goes. That's why I wanted to add that context here. It's more or less looking like everyone kind of thinks it's this kid, because how else could this have happened? Like, the evidence doesn't really point anywhere else. But they, the family says, hey, they did get along well, at least, from what they were saying. So like, there was no reason to suspect that this would happen or go down. But I don't know, from kind of what I've gathered, just scant shit, like, it does seem like maybe that there was just some kind of moment or snapping. Another thing that I need to add that's important, in terms of, I believe, what is it, like a DNA rape kit, things like that, that came back with like no bad report there. So we're not talking like at least an SVU kind of situation. Even the family was like, yeah, we were relieved about that. But you just ask them, and they ask them, the reporter or whatever, and they kind of just have this like situation of like, yeah, this is the saddest outcome possible. We lost Abby. We lost her, and then, or I'm sorry, not Abby, my bad, Anna. We lost Anna, and then, also the stepbrother, he's now, being implicated here. We don't know what's going to happen to him. We just want to get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? I think that at the end of the day, they just want answers. They said that they're going to let justice play its course. I think that is hard enough to even say, I bet, because at the end of the day, I understand the feeling of like, hey, we kind of got to rally the horses here. We got to circle the wagons here. Like, if this is what happened, like, that's our baby boy, right? And obviously it's like, no, you should do the right thing and you should want justice to be served. That's what I'm saying. I think it's very hard to like really say that and stand on it. So I will definitely give them credit for that. But yeah, definitely just like, this is a story that's kind of been like poking on the edges for headlines for me. I've been seeing it, but I just didn't like get into it because there wasn't many details from what I heard. It was like just teenager died on Carnival Horizon. So I wanted to kind of wait until there was more meat on the bone, so to speak. Though I will say, yeah, I definitely want to come back to the story again if there's any more details, any more revelations that come out of this story. But obviously condolences to Anna, all of the family, all the people involved. Gosh, that's just, man, chalk it up. Another reason not to go on a Carnival cruise, or any cruise for that matter. Y'all know, longtime listeners know, I have a whole spiel. I won't get into the whole nine about it, but I'm not a cruise guy. Never gonna be a cruise guy. You're not catching me on a cruise. I've been on a boat. Don't try to say we've never been on water. I can swim. I can do all these things. I just don't want to go on a cruise. Okay? Don't waste your time trying to say, well, what about the buffet? So many things to do. You can drink yourself crazy. I don't care. You use your drink tickets, do a couple for me. I'm okay. I'm a landlubber. I'm staying on land. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We got a recall I wanted to hit. Actually a recall or two. Well, it's 2 in 1, right? Anyway, let me take a water break. I'm quite parched. Definitely one of my issues is that I just do not drink enough water. I've always had this issue. I like drinks that taste good. I like drinks that do stuff to me. I do not like just a neutral ass water, but it is like the most essential thing, and it keeps you alive. That's the thing it does. But I mean, yeah, try telling that to my taste buds. That being said, though, water's good. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Okay. Don't be like me. Don't be like this podcaster, having literally like 2-3 drinks in the room and like just not using one of them. Just not fully optimizing the kit. That's a shame. Damn shame. All right. From All Recipes, recall alert. 2 popular Boar's Head deli products recalled for potential listeria contamination. Listeria, it's on the menu. Ambriola Company, the producer of certain Boar's Head products, has issued a Class 1 recall for select cheeses due to the potential presence of Listeria monococcagins. As of November 23rd, 2025, select lots of Boar's Head Pecorino Romano cheese, both whole and grated, have been recalled. The 2 recalled Boar's Head brand cheeses were sold at retailers nationwide, including Tops and Big Y, in the deli section. The grated Pecorino Romano cheese was sold in 6-ounce containers, and the whole Pecorino Romano cheese was sold in 7-ounce blocks. They have the whole information here with the little codes and everything. We're gonna skip that. We're also skipping the dates too, but by all means, if you've bought this, we'll say within, we'll say some of the dates. It was November 21st, 2025 to March 12th, 2026. That's for the Pecorino Romano cheese. And then the Pecorino Romano cheese wedges, was November 25th, 2025 to, and May, 11th, 2026. Sorry, I said 2 and I should have said and. That's a my bad. But yeah, be on the lookout for those cheeses in your kitchen if you have those, and obviously check the article, double check. Go ahead and chuck them. Just get them out of here. Or if you can get your refund, get your refund. Assess your situations. But don't eat it, because I don't want you getting listeria. That's the last thing you want to do right before Thanksgiving is get listeria up in your shit. That's bad. It's going to be gross. You're going to have a terrible fucking time. Okay? So don't do that. Please. Please, for me. I know, it looks tasty. It looks like you could tank it, but just don't. Okay? Just don't. All right. Buyer beware. All right. We have one more story that I wanted to cover, and then I will let you go. But let's see here. It's a Louvre update. We're going back to the Louvre, and that means we got to go to Paris. I love Paris. I love Paris so much. That's a lie. I don't ever want to go to Paris. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we will close it out. We'll say, not the biggest fan of Paris, but I am a big fan of Heist. And you know what? I'm talking a lot of fucking shit. I talk a lot of shit. But maybe if I got my head out of my ass and I went to Paris, maybe I would love it. Maybe I'd like it. Maybe I wouldn't have Paris syndrome. I'd be like, damn, this place is dope. And I do love baguettes. And I do love cheese. Because hell, I used to be, I don't think I'll ever want to go to China. I'm a little scaredy cat. I don't know. It's a big old country. But lately, I've been doing some soul searching, been doing some thinking. Not that I'm planning on going to China. China. No, I just I think it's cool. There's definitely a lot to love. And I've just been, lacking. So I think that's one of the things that I do appreciate about streaming culture these days is that, well, streaming culture, content creation, whatever, like people going to places and just really like doing a whole like IRL experience. It allows me to kind of be a bit of a voyeur and, watch over their shoulder, watch through the camera lens and like really see a place I've never thought I'd ever get to see in a way. Like, I don't know, in a very like natural way ish, I'm granted a lot of times these are very set up events and things like that, but I mean, it's still very cool, very awesome. So I don't know, I'm changing my perspective. So maybe I could learn to love Paris, maybe you might catch me at the Louvre. No, I don't know. I really don't think so. Omelette du fromage. All right. From USA Today. 4 more suspects arrested in brazen Louvre heist, officials say. And my dear listeners, I will tell you, it takes everything in me to not say Louvre. I feel like that's the way you should say it. You should put the stank on it. But I just want to do baby mode, Louvre. It's just a Louvre. I feel like it's safer. I hurt less ears. 4 more suspects have been arrested in connection with the brazen daytime heist of Paris Louvre Museum. French protesters announced. In a statement Tuesday, November 25th, the Paris prosecutor's office said the suspects are 2 men and 2 women, ages 31 to 40. The statement did not describe any charges or detail the suspects' possible role in the plot. Let's see here. 4 other suspects have been arrested and handed preliminary charges in connection with the October 19th robbery of more than $102 million worth of royal jewels from the world's most visited museum. The stolen artifacts, including earrings and a necklace owned by Queen Marie Amélie and Queen Hortense, the stepdaughter of Napoleon I, are still missing, officials say. At this point, I think it's you call it GG on that in terms of the stones or in terms of like the royal jewels here. Like, if you couldn't get those within the first week, they are probably melted down, split up, fenced out. Like, I think they're just in the wind. And I know people are maybe crying, historians, like a piece of history is dead, it's gone. I guess, like, I don't know. To me, this isn't going to be missed. I don't think these are like precious heirloom artifacts from like a culture or civilization. These are just rich fuddy-duddy shits. Like, I just don't care about a fucking, crown jewel. Like, these aren't even really that cool family jewels, in my opinion. And I know that's just my opinion, but I from what I'm gathering, between me and mine, people I've talked to, people were more impressed about the heist than like any of the jewels value, stature, whatever. No one gave a fuck about that. The only thing I heard was like listening to the BBC. People were like, there was like one person they interviewed who was like crying, like, I came all the way to see the Louvre and the jewels aren't even here. Like, dude, just go get some fucking cheese and call it a day. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's just no way that's all you came to fucking France for. I can't believe that. But I mean, hey, by all means, sometimes I think Napoleon is interesting, I guess. Yeah, I guess if I'm there, show me the jewels. Whatever. But, wait, they're gone. I mean, there's more details here, but it's more update stuff. So, or not update, recap. Like how the heist went down, yada. I feel like we talked about this story a good amount, so I really don't want to rerun it down. Nowhere's no ball. No need to reiterate my opinion. So yeah, that's more or less why I wanted to leave it. Oh, I did want to say that in terms of out of the 4 robbers, like on the day, in the moment of the heist, they've so far captured or arrested, whatever, 3 of them. So there's still one who was actually there participating, is on the lam. They're still gone. Everyone else has just kind of been accomplices who are part of it, which just kind of goes to show, like, damn, it really took a team of motherfuckers to make this shit happen. And I'm sure there's still more people at large. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating there, but I would not be surprised. I guess it takes a lot, especially, listening and learning and, seeing that shit is, not just a movie. Like, it does take a lot of effort to make this shit happen. Effort, talent, all that kind of shit. And even then, you see in this situation where it's like, yeah, they were still able to track these people down pretty quickly, pretty effectively. And I mean, hey, we even had one guy who was like a motorcycle, content creator guy. So it's like, and that's the thing. Look, y'all, I feel like I can say this pretty confidently. You're never going to catch me doing anything fucking crazy. Because I yap every day for a living. Like, there's just no shot. There's no shot that I'm doing some alternative, like, when I fucking stop recording, I'm gonna go do some fucking capers. Y'all know I'm not built for it. That would be funny as fuck. Y'all would cook me. Y'all would actually start commenting. So no, that's not gonna happen. I am just gonna be a small bean, obscure, anonymous ass motherfucking podcaster, okay? I'm not gonna be robbing no shits. Anyway, you can count on that. Anyway, that's gonna be the episode for today. Let's see, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Roll call, it's a coming. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Would you kindly? It would be much appreciated. Wherever you can do that. Let me know if there's other places where you can do 5-star reviews. That'd be sick. I need to know those things. But yeah, if you don't do that, it's okay. If you've made it this far and you're hearing me talk, that's dope. That's cool. I'm sending heart reactions through the Blue Yeti at you for doing that. Thank you so much. I really just appreciate being able to have the opportunity to yap into your ear, your sound space, out of your device that's playing, or you're being, you know what I'm saying. Thank you for that. That's so cool. You're so rad for that. But yes, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.